So the Walmart candles pass the test of 12 hours or more candles, or 12-hour burning candles, or time burning time, whatever it is. I gotta drink my coffee here. Some great candles for $9 for 12 or something. There's the Naratomet. Keeps going. Keeps going. It's a little hole. It's like a rain drain hole. I'll plug that up. Used to be on the other side, I guess. But I knew that was it one side. I actually bought a different one, but see how the tablets, each end is a pair of tablets in the glass shape there. So this is the menorah that the Chinese people are supposed to be making. This is the replica instead of that $3 million piece of garbage, because they made that. It just shows you how they mess everything up. It's rich people with too much time on their hands. This is made by some non-Jews, the good seed people, but they're the only ones that, and it's not like a working model, it's just a replica. And this guy, he makes, it's like some Asian guy from Canada makes those. Like I needed him, and like at first I'm like, it's like CIA or somebody helping me. This dude's like CIA. It was just weird. I mean, it was like I needed this, and there it was. It took about a year after I wanted it, I think, to be made. If you notice, the Torah is leaning to its left. It's royalty. I didn't do that. Hashem does that. It's like the tablets lean to the left. Hashem does that. And then there's my. I had to cut the height off on that one. I cut out about I guess 3/4 of an inch or so. I could probably take another 1/4 inch off of it, but it has more realistic proportions. That's the 12 tribe one, which is the closest one. But the larger you get that, the more of a longer stem they create, and that takes it away from the original sizing. Even those are a little bit off. That's the ones I put the oil cups in on a Friday, but I haven't got back to that yet. Those are nice candles. I haven't washed. I got to empty that now. Of course, our lions. I should repaint them to a more robust gold. So now we have an Naratomet burning in Nixon, Penn Township. And a Torah, whether you agree to it or not, Hashem agrees. So this is Hashem's ark, actually. He says he doesn't own the other arks. You all do. Oh, well. I got to find my external microphone somewhere. I got to go find my other drapes and hang them up. Wash them and hang them up. I thought I was going to not be able to hang drapes, but that's why they put those in. Right. Well, they're rather thin, and my drapes are nice drapes. They're not too heavy. The place looks a lot more homey. with drapes. Well, they had like a little linen. I don't forget to call it valance. They have a little linen valance when you move in. I fold those up and put them in a spare closet, bedroom closet. Looks really nice. I'd return one more of those things at least, or exchange them for a different one. They're like raggedy on the edge. I have no idea how this happened because the remnants were never like that before. No, they're like really bad. It's almost artistic, but like the Home Depot would try to. Well, it's kind of like artistic, inside, so it doesn't get the return. Like you can tell the economy was starting to slow because they're starting like on returns in the mind. When you think about like, well, I don't know, do you really want to return that? Yes, Home Depot, I want to return that. You all don't know that. You just get down. It's like, well, maybe I don't want to. If I was rich, I wouldn't return anything, man. I wouldn't care. Or not rich, just having my money. I mean, they don't consider what I consider rich. You all don't consider rich, right? Just having my upper middle class income, I guess. Where that arc looks great, man. It looks absolutely awesome in here. It has a feeling of an Ashkenazi. That whole section of there has a feeling of an Ashkenazi European, like in the 1600s, 1800s, something like that. It's amazing. They were killing it in Kansas, boy. Right. Well, a lot of people passed on and had trouble in life that they wouldn't have had. Even this downturn could come from them in Kansas cursing my art. And of course, there are people in Florida and Mexico that backed them. Right? Well, you see, because he's a sinner, and that's not really an ark. See, Hashem got you. That's how Hashem's are. I didn't get to do as much furniture polish and cleanup as I wanted to. But I'll get that today or tomorrow, I guess. Actually, I might have to wait till next Friday. That's the way it worked last time. Yeah, I'm going to put these lamps back in, these Walmart torch lamps with the white globe, where I put Hashem's name on it. So I'm going to have to order those letters. But I have them somewhere, but I don't know where they are. I might order just another couple packets. I keep them in business, I guess. It's like puffy black letters. When you try to put them on that white globe, they look like they were made, craftsmen. And I can see this with the voice of like I don't know what era. I guess the Enlightening era, the Rabbi Enlightenment era. Well, when you talk about it, but to us, they are made. Like you brought that. Oh wow, who made these? Okay, like some puffy vinyl, sticky letters. But they're like the only ones you can get that are like that size. I mean, I guess you could buy the wood, but the wood doesn't conform to the. I mean, you could buy the cheaper ones, but these have like 3 dimensions in them. You can paint whatever color you wanted if you didn't know that. I still don't know what I'm going to do. That fireplace is heavy, so I don't even know what I'm going to do. The floor here isn't the best. Right? And that was their goal for me not to build a fireplace. I could just buy like a cheapy one. Well, actually, not a cheapy one. Actually, no, I have to modify it, I guess. I don't know. Build a smaller one. I built the base already, and it's heavy. The base is probably almost just as heavy as that cabinet. I don't know. I was in a first floor apartment, so my neighbors are like weird now. It's like the energy just shifted. But I gotta ask them if they need that refrigerator because they might need it, or they may know somebody that need it. Right? I have the lady over here, but she's in a wheelchair and she don't come out every often. I asked her if she needed help with her packages. So if you need any help, because this is how I get my exercise. That's why I didn't want to actually. At first, I didn't want to even like. Usually, I would say, "Hey, do you need any help?" And I didn't want to say it because I'm like, I don't, because she's disabled. Disabled people, that's their thing. Well, I go shopping, once a week, and I get my exercise, and this is my independence. Right? And that's kind of what it was. She has a pretty good attitude in life. Not like me. But yeah, if I got to live somewhere 22 years, maybe I wouldn't either. They weren't running me out of those communities for being a criminal. Get the hell out of here. The crooks paid them to run me out, including cartels. I'm telling you, that's been going on for over 10 years. Right? Of course, they didn't run me out. It just became a place no longer to stay. Right? So Maduro is trying to use my plan to stay. No, the part you forgot, Maduro, is you leave. I have to clean out all these containers. I have to go to a store and get a bin for them. I just can put them in regular bags. I was going to put them in like recycle bags, just because that's what you're supposed to do. But I can't use the bags for recycling. I have to dump them into the bin and then throw away the bag, I guess. Or I guess maybe reuse it. So I'll just use a regular trash bag. Right? But I have to get another bin. It's like small, like 13-gallon bin in my apartment or my room, my house. What I guess get a house. What if anybody? I wonder if any cop drove by and saw the red and blue yet. Because a lot of neighborhoods don't know it. When you're sleeping, that's when the cops drive by. Right. They have patrols at night. And there's very little traffic enforcement or anything like that. So they have a route that they, kind of create. You got to mix it up and change it up a little bit if you have a community where you need to do that. This one, I don't think you need to mix it up. I don't think there's anybody that's at that level of crookdom. Well, they watch the cops and where they are at night, right? What routes they take and what time they patrol, that kind of thing. Like the Venezuelans and those people. They know probabilities of cops, right? Spotting them. Yeah, the whole thing is they can give a shit about us average Americans. In fact, they're probably why our lives are failing. They're putting big money into the system to kill us. Well, Latinos are all messed up because their Latino supremacy plan isn't going to work. So again, Latinos are no less supremacist than, say, the Aryan Brotherhood. They really aren't. They're a little more crafty about it. They probably have more money at this. Well, actually, I don't know. Yeah, probably have more money. But as far as white supremacists as a whole, that's what it's just. That's the problem. They're fighting it, and they grab these dummies, like like these anti-ace people and all that. No, the average white guy doesn't get a job, right? And you remember we have as again, it's slowing down. It's slowed down in recent days, but as the cartels became more powerful in the United States, and the cops became dirtier because they're being paid off and all that. Right? And believe me, there's limits of what they're allowed. There's organizational ties that don't allow them to be arrested and all that kind of thing. But as our cartels became more powerful, the millennial white people started, they're unemployed in their mother's basement. It's part of that's a spell. So again, I'm not against Latino people, but I'm against Latino supremacy. I've experienced it. Right. You think it's funny? You'll all be in hell. Maybe even today. No, all we're doing, well, yeah, what we're doing is moving everything back to square. I mean, Trump, he goes over, and his people. I already explained that, right? We're trying to move everything back to square. The people that are actually doing it are trying to move it back to square. We lost some good people in the firing, right? And the purging. Yeah, but Trump spoke about it, and his people spoke about it. So I'm not sure if it's going to, like, they don't care. Like, their plan is to be rich off of it. And their lawyer's plan is for them to get rich off of it. Gotta clean up too. Get some bottles in a bin. Bottles in a bin. All of you are thinking of sin. Running around with your badges made of tin. I gotta get these things put away somewhere. I need a bigger shed. I mean, I know it's weird telling, but if I don't have a storage unit, I probably need a bigger shed. Now, if I had a normal house, it'd be perfect. I did. They killed it. Like you all don't know what happened. They freaked out. They blocked me from a house. They blocked me from houses. They already did that like in the late 90s. Right? My whole family. Me and my whole family. But that's part of the reason they killed us. I didn't know anything. Right. I could have destroyed it. If I was awake, they'd been running away from me in the Marshal Service. I guarantee it. Right. It was so cheap. I did to Moses. See, when you say that, they're like, ooh, they're like laughing, and then when I say they did to Moses, like, ooh. See how Hashem built the world? You just tell the truth, and it works. That's funny. My last name was Moses. That's pretty funny, isn't it? That's Hashem. That's how you know Hashem's involved. Right? Why could there be Satan? Because it's not. Have you ever heard of that? It's not because it's not, and it is because it is. Well, because I would talk about Moses, I would go, let my people go. Right. But then one day I found out our last name is actually Moshe. And I'd be like, Judah, the flag of Judah, the king of Judah. And then my name was actually Judah. Well, if we weren't okay, so what they're doing is they're changing the names to hide during the oppression, during the essentially we were being forced to live in ghettos, so they changed their name a little bit, just to make the Europeans happy. And then they changed the name again, and some of that was forced name change, believe it or not, when you got to the United States. But no, I don't know what ours was. It's like 1905 or something, so it's over a century at this point. But that's why Hashem, essentially, Hashem, I hate to be cold, but Hashem said I needed you to be born, to live, so I had to get your family out of Europe. No, my internal work's immense. I'm just not paid for it. That's all. Why aren't you paid? Because you're devils, and you'll go to hell for it. Even in their own system, if they're welchers like they are, they don't get paid. Right? There are guarantees in people's lives when they join the Marshal Service. It isn't like, oh, you're so wonderful for rescuing me from my poverty. Your representations. Like Reagan was the only one that made good, and again, he only had so much capability. Well, because he let me out of the government. That's whose spirit led me out of the government and got me so after 20 years of service to the government, I leave. And I'll tell this one more time. So there's a spirit. I'm laying there in bed one day, and I'm like, this is because they're killing me. I mean, they're trying to do a loon on me. So the spirit like wakes me up and walks me over to my leave and earnings statement and points to my retirement amount of money if I retire like then and there. So I guess to a certain degree, I knew what that was going to be kind of. I mean, I had no idea.
I mean, I'm not like a guy that sat there and calculated, well, I could get out early. And right. Like, well, how can I work past 57? Is there any way we could extend this to maybe 60? Oh, no. That means Sonny would work 3 more years with us. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. But I don't sit around and I just do my job and that's it. So, so there's psyop of me, CIA of me, messing me up all over the place. People in my workplace taking money, living the orgy life. So the thing shows me every time. But I tried to stay. So what happens is Schlickster, Rick Henry, and little girl Sheldon get in trouble. They go at each other and they get in trouble. Right. I think they had an alliance after that. Right. They formed an alliance, which made it worse, right? So, but they were afraid to do anything to anybody because they were under internal affairs investigation. I mean, they were still like meddling in my private life, but they weren't doing anything overt in the courthouse. You know, you made us try. I mean, she runs around practically that way, right? And we were honest about what she was saying. You should make us try. I mean, who are you? You sit at your freaking desk and you have sex with the assistant chief, lesbian sex. You know, who are you? You're fucking nobody, bitch. She's probably in hell if she's passed on. There's no way that woman's not going to hell. There's no way. Right. Oh, you don't like the way I talk? Oh, every cop in the world's talking like this today, except for like 2 people. Okay, 2 people per regional police department or region of police department, like Southwestern, 2 people in Southwestern police department. Okay, not 2, but I guess 2 sizable police department. So I've been planning leaving. He started it up again, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to last through this next thing, you know, because they're going to hit me again, over and over again, trying to cause some error, things like that." So no, she did this since like day one. She gave me the she started with like the cold shoulder. Was I'm like, okay, I'm a rookie, and she's useless anyway. Who cares, right? Yeah, she killed. She's responsible for what happened to Bettman. So if you kill somebody's mind, and he slipped into using heroin or something like that. So again, I'm not excusing the action, but spycraft is spycraft. If she was arrested for the felony she committed, then he wouldn't have had that happen to him. And Slickster could be part of it. I don't know. No, there's external force. It was a hostile takeover of government is what happened, which is obviously illegal. Right. Corrupt crooks, organized crime took over government. So the people they arrest is just like a gang war. That's really what it is. Arrest the other criminals. Instead of shooting them on the street, they arrest them. Well, it's a better system, less violent, right? That's how their mind is. So I got to get out of the government. And I hear, at a certain point, I hear Sergeant Major's retirement. This is the part I never knew. Like I knew, looking back at the living earnings statement, my mind clearing, I here in Pennsylvania, I did see, I think the amount that I did end up getting, or something close to it. I don't think it was an exact. No, it wasn't that much money, believe me. I worked so hard, with overtime. I think I'm making just tremendous amounts of money, right? Because I work so, we're always working over. I go out on assignment. These people didn't want to go out on assignment because why? Because they were being paid by freaking criminal organizations to be millionaires. Right? The techies were taking them up. And the organized crime people that were with them. The techies are actually organized criminals. Their hostile takeover of businesses is an offer you can't refuse. So when I woke up, one thing Hashem explained to me is the beginning of this, like in earnest, was hostile takeovers. organized crime figures were taking over all corporations and, gangs of organized crime people. They're organized criminals. They're nobody decent. Then the hostile takeovers kind of slowed down. But then they tried to take it over. Then they took over government. So I get out of government. The small spirit, leads me out of government, and then Sergeant Major's retirement after 20 years. Ronald Reagan. So I'm like, that's weird. So it took a while. I don't know when I got to South Beach, and I was on a computer in South Beach. I had like a laptop, and I think I hooked to the internet at Kinko's or something, right? Or Ginkgo's. Yeah, they're Kinko's or Ginkgo's. See, right? So I get on the computer and I look it up, and it's pretty much the amount of money I was making in that retirement. So apparently, Ronald Reagan had promised me 20 years. So Jim Major, when I went in, I mean, I wasn't awake to it, but if I'd been awake to it, I may have actually made it to that. But he never stopped, because they blocked it. I was shifted over to federal law enforcement, and then they blocked it. Well, why would we block it? Because you're devils, demons, antichrist, witches, sorcerers, and organized crime figures. No, I never received any ups. That was all my own power. I mean, with God, but right. That's how they do that. It's they should actually go to hell for not giving you ups, right? And would have if I was awake. But again, it wasn't just like I wouldn't have reacted to not getting my ups. I would have reacted to the bullshit they were playing. No, they were paid by criminals, man, to fashion the office in the image of Satan, right? Yeah, I'll tell you right now, they don't tell you about what's going on in federal government. Why? Because I would just read it and say, okay, this guy here, this gal here. That's why you don't hear public information. Now, they may settle more than they used to. But you don't even know all the work I did. Like I helped the Border Patrol become who they are. They were killing the Border Patrol in the bush. I think a little bit in Obama. That's the one mistake Bush made. I didn't understand what the hell he was doing. Right. Again, it did come out that he felt. See, I don't know what he knows in his body, so it does. Again, but the overall machine said it felt like it was duped by the operators. Right. Like they authorized something, but not what they did. Like they personalized it. Like it's okay. So here's how it is: the CIA will go, the intelligence operators and the bigs will go in that are corrupt, and they'll present an issue and a fix for the issue. But it's all a cover story for what they actually want to do. Right. And again, when you're George Bush making all that money, what do you care? But what it did is it probably caused, because they were doing what they were doing, it caused 9/11, and it caused all those wars. You see, you're not attributing these things because you want to say, well, we're right and everybody else is wrong. Well, no, let's go back to why this happened. Because useless pieces of shit were hostily taking over the government. Everybody else was leaving. Like you'd hear people in the FBI leave, like got master's degrees and stuff. I'm out of there. Lawyers, I'm out of there. And that's what it was. So, like if you have a future of making more money than you do in the FBI, you're not going to stay when they kill you. You're like, okay, first chance I get, normal life again, right? Correct. So I never knew what it was. You'd see people leave and just, I'm not that type of, I'm just like a loyal employee type of dude. Right. I'm a Savra leader after all. Right. When I left the government, when I left the Army, I was definitely
the top 5% of combat engineers.
So again, I probably, my next step was special forces, but again, the totality of, again, it was that same thing. It was a deep state takeover in the army at that point. Right. And special forces guys were speaking out and everything. They're saying, no, don't come this way. It's no better. But I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? I didn't know what nothing meant anything to me. Look, I didn't know how things work. It's like buying all those manuals and, just even owning them has enough attributed to them. I had special forces manuals in Vietnam and all that stuff. Right. SEAL. I had a SEAL. Was it a Buds manual? I don't even remember what it was. It was a SEAL operation. It was a thick book. It was like about, I don't know, I'd say about 2 inches thick. I guess it was all their tasks or something. I don't remember what it was. I don't even think you probably get them. I don't even think they make them anymore. Yeah, some of it was. I'm not a scuba dude, so some of it wasn't all that applicable. But I had other stuff. They knew what you're doing. You see, they know what you're doing because they've killed other people. Just like they killed Luna, they knew they were going to kill me. So it's like, again, Hashem looks at it and goes, okay, so you just killed Luna, now you're doing it to him. Which means they're intentional murderers. Not hard to figure out. Well, maybe it's not Hashem, maybe it's you. Yes, in your dream it's me. In reality, it's Hashem. But we go to church. Right. We're forgiven. No. Read the fine print. Every religion has a fine print. Forgives your enemy and puts you all in prison, in hell. Right. Because you're devils all. How can I be? I'm a church member. See, it doesn't work like that. I've explained that the whole time. By the virtue of being a cop, then they're better than the other person. Now, you see where that got you, right? You've never had anti-police like this before. Now, some of the anti-police actually comes directly from your own people. Well, because their idea is the more anti-police people there is, the less likely they're going to be competitive for them. Right. Well, because they're just nobodies. They're not successful in anything, really. The system is successful. Do you understand the difference of being a system person and being propped up by the system and actually creating system that's better than the present system? See, that's why they didn't like me, because I could create a better system. No, they're nobodies. They have this this $1 trillion budget that makes them somebody. Right. I mean, I'd walk in and go, oh, we got stuff laying around here. We got stuff, Sapper leader. We got stuff laying out. Oh, look, cameras in the courtroom. Right. Agreed. We agree. Didn't cost us anything, actually. $0 to put those 2 additional cameras in those 2 separate courtrooms. They were mobile. You'd have to get additional camcorders, but whatever courtroom we're sitting in, we just set up a tripod with camcorders, and they'll plug it into the cable. ADT ran it with spare cable from a project, what was going to be left over. Right. They get to keep it, but the guy was nice and said, okay. Right. And on Saturday, we all came in and ran the cable to the two courtrooms. $0 for the marshal service. Right. That's when Carp yelled at me. I think Carp gets a kickback. So he was mad because I was messing up his deal. I went in Carp was on me. I got the contractor coming in. I walked in. They asked me, see if you can fix whatever. I don't even remember what it was, but I have a cable. An Ethernet cable. Walk up to their telephone bank or something. I go, bing, bing. Oh, the phone works. There you go. That was a phone. That's what. I rerouted the phone. I patched it from one to the other. $0. I'm like, using my cables just laying around. Greg was all mad because he couldn't get his kickback. Said like, thank you. Our phones work now. I don't remember what it was. It was an important phone number. I don't remember what it was, but they needed it to ring in a certain location. So I just put a patch cable in, rerouted it to the other location. Inside the phone room or whatever it was. And that's probably part of it. Uncomfortable getting their kickbacks if somebody isn't a kickback person. What the person wants. How does this look up? I gotta clean my stove. I gotta figure this out. I hate steel sinks. I wish this sink was enameled. If I had my own apartment or my own house, I would definitely have a steel sink. Or not steel, an enameled sink. Right. To wipe this out. See, it's so easy to clean your apartment here in Pennsylvania. Or house, whatever it is. A marshal service killed me, man. I mean, I could look back and go, what, now I can figure some of it was geographic, right, in nature. They killed my wife, and they killed me. They actually killed my wife first, and then while my wife was killed, they got her to come against me. Like, do you think Rick Henry and Karen Shelton really give a shit about my wife? And then they have operators that would meet my wife, like she'd go shopping, and then they put shit into her head, right? Man. No, it to a certain degree, in the beginning, it didn't have anything to do with me. It just, this is not somebody we want because why? Because he's not corrupt. We're corrupt. We want to do a corrupt takeover. He needs to be taken out of the way. Again, the same thing as Rose McGowan. They did when they were busted. When Weinstein was busted, they were just beginning. They were doing a psychological assessment of Rose McGowan. That's why there's no evidence of the actual acts of what they did or what they were going to do. Right? Because they have to understand the person's psychology first.
all right, I figured out how she's a criminal, and Harvey's a nice man.
Right. So what they did is they took what was wrong with my uncle, and they tried to make it like, oh, this is hereditary. So they did. So my uncle has these issues, and they tried to make it happen to me, but I was able to fight it, because I'm not my uncle, right? In fact, my uncle said, God never did anything for him, and I'm looking at him. You're the richest. At that point, he was probably one of the richest government disabled retirees. But see, they disabled my family member that's in our family members in government. They didn't do it to Bubby because Bubby, Bubby's a chicken. And they don't, like, for some reason, they don't go after women as much. But Bubby never talked the truth. Well, there's things Bubby heard that I know, were related to me or maybe even me. And Bubby did do that part in the end of her life, so I'm sure Hashem. She's one of the few people that came clean a little bit. And she showed me her Jewish magic hand. Well, because she believed in the system. Like if you harass Bubby at the detriment, if somebody has to do something that's detrimental to them, right, and you harass my Bubby, she would one up, so she would sell out. So post showing me that magic hand, she actually sold out again. My family doesn't fight back. And again, I'm not talking about the average person like these idiots, That's not fighting back, being a radical, because they have their own bullshit. They have new stuff as far as does this work. Okay, this goes here, and this should go in there. Right? It goes through here. Not sure what this is doing. I guess it's it. No, the way the gas ranges are now is the first time I had a gas range in years, and they have these big monstrous things. I have to get a better cleaner. There's like some residue. Probably not the spray away glass cleaner probably work. Have to find it though. What they do is it's all psychology, like how people would react to what's being done. So you have to make the person to do it to. And it doesn't have to be real. It isn't like people are actually criminals, but he's the biggest criminal. But if you listen to them, they're angry because you're not a criminal. If you actually sit there and analyze what they're saying, they're actually doing it because their victim either is not a criminal or wasn't a criminal. Like they say, we put you in jail. So again, they're like crooks. You want to put a cop in jail. Right? But they actually tell people that's what they did. They put me in jail for like 20 years. They'll go to hell, man, for millions of years. You were given much in government. You were given much in those techie jobs, and you did very little. You actually did the opposite of very little. You did nothing and made things worse. There's an unholy alliance between techies and government people. That's where came to a head. Right? That's why for all those years they went around orgying. They still do, I'm sure, and using drugs like it's going out of style. They were immune. They're part of the deep state set, and then of course spies and all that. Right? Like they would just kill you if you were in the way of the person. Like, why did they kill Dudley? In the way of Rick Henry becoming deputy director. Right? And other people like that. Want to fashion the Marshal Service in the image of their father, Satan.
Agreed.
Thanks for trying to say I'm stupid. They spend millions and millions of dollars, okay? I'm not stupid. Right. If they weren't allowed to commit federal felonies, if they weren't allowed to use government and private sector money to commit those federal felonies, then my life would have been fine. It's that simple. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God.